welcome to today's video. As you can see, we're not covering today's Swiss stage games. I do have to go to work in an hour or so. So tomorrow on Monday, I will recap the series that took place today. Hopefully last week it had to be pushed back to Tuesday just because of YouTube processing problems, but I should have the recap for the 3 Swiss stage matchups, knockouts, final, deal tomorrow. So on the board we have some interesting stats that I thought would be something to go over. Today we'll go over teams. Tuesday I will have something about players, but in a similar vein. So on here we have some basic win-loss stats, win percentages based on team, organization, It's regarding international success. How are teams in best of fives? On the board here, we have every team that has competed in a best of 5 internationally at MSI or Worlds. So Worlds Season 2 through now, because Season 1 technically did not have a best of 5. Fnatic won the finals in a best of 3. In Season 2, there was only one best of 5, and that was the finals for Taipei Assassins, which is why they're 1-0 on here. I used a minimum of a 5 series sample size for the main teams we have here, and then the rest included in here, in this section. So, including that, and then MSI's best of 5s. And who is the best internationally in that scenario as we're about to go into quarterfinals this week? So, in first is actually Samsung Galaxy. I included Samsung Blue and White in that, understanding that they played against each other, which you could argue maybe they're 7-1 instead of 8-2 if we just wash that one out completely. Otherwise, 80% win rate. I did not include that into the Gen G stats. Those I consider separate. T1 SKT, of course, they've been around a long time and have the most best of 5s. It also helps that the last couple MSIs have had way more best of 5s than prior, right? Many years it was just simply 3 best of 5s and that was it at MSI. Now it is mainly best of 5s, right? So T1 actually are 28-11. And despite having the most best of 5s, their win rate is that high at 72%. The highest LPL team is JDG, which would surprise a lot of people because many think they're chokers, but they're 6-3 with a 67% win rate internationally in best of 5s. They may go home before the finals, but they did win an MSI. I combined DRX, Dragon X, and Kingzone Dragon X because I think that is all in the same group. 4-2, 67% win rate. We saw them, of course, win Worlds 2022. IG, 4-2, really only had that one run at Worlds. Otherwise, they lost at MSI the year G2 won. BLG, 8-5, won an MSI this year. Or no, last year. No, BLG haven't won shit, have they? JDG won last year. Gen G won this year. Yeah, BLG haven't won anything. 62%. D+, or Damwon Kia, or Damwon Gaming. 6-4, 60% win rate. Gen G, 8-6, 57% win rate. Of course, a team that many consider to be chokers. RNG, although they've won so many MSIs, there weren't many best of 5s. Remember, you just had to win 2 to win. So, they won those MSIs, but really world success has not been there. 1 year we saw, I think it was Worlds 2014, so Season 4 or 3. I think that would be Season 4. RNG did go to finals and lose, so they're 10-8 over their organization's history. 56%. The highest LEC or even Western team, G2, they are 10-9 internationally in best of 5s. They're playing right now against BLG as I make this video. 53% win rate. EDG, 5-5, 50% win rate. Of course, world champions. I kept HLE and Rocks Tigers, Coup Tigers all together. I could have separated them. I think that's a gray area there. 3-3, 50%. Of course, had one really good run. Rocks Tigers. Top Esports 2-3, 40% win rate. Team Liquid, best LCS record, 2-3. A lot of that coming this year at MSI. 40% win rate. And also something to note, no play-ins are included in here. No play-ins at all. So MSI play-ins, world qualifying series last year, things like that I did not include. It had to be the main event at minimum. Fnatic, 3-10. So they've had 13 best of fives internationally and only won 3 of them, despite winning a Worlds. But like I said in the beginning of this video, when they won that Worlds, there was not a best of 5 necessary. Cloud9 LCS 2-7, 22% win rate. So the rest here are teams that only had maybe one run, and that's all. Or had a couple opportunities in quarters or MSI or whatever. So FPX 3-0. They won those 3 at Worlds 2019, and that was it. Otherwise, they have no international best of 5 to go over. Taipai Assassins, like I said, 1-0. Weibo and Suning, we could combine them. That's a gray area. Kind of like HLE. They could be 6-4 alongside D+ and Damwon Kia and things like that. So just keep that in mind. Naja and White Shield. I could have combined Naja and White Shield and Black Shield together. They'd have been 1-2, theoretically. OMG of LPL, 1-1. H2K of LEC. Origin of LEC. CLG of LCS, all 1-1. 1-2, Team World Elite, the only one that's like that. And then we go over the teams that never won any best of 5s internationally. The most are Mad Lions Koi and Flash Wolves. So Mad Lions Koi, and Flash Wolves, both 0-4 internationally in best of 5s. We speak highly of Flash Wolves because they went on good runs, got to quarters, got to semifinals at MSI, but at the same time, they never actually won the best of 5 to move on. 0-3 teams, KT Rolster of LCK and PSG Talon of the PCS. Neither one have gotten over the hump. 0-2s, we have AHQ Esports Club, PCS squad, as well as Golden Guardians. Both times at MSI last year, they had best of 5s and they lost, so 0-2. And then we have several teams, maybe a dozen here, that are 0-1. They've had one opportunity at a best of 5 internationally. Griffin, LCK, Afrika Freaks, Longzhu Gaming, Azubu Frost, Najin Black Shield, all LCK teams. LNG from the LPL, the only LPL team on here, 0-1. And we're going to see them at quarters this year. So, no matter what, they won't be in this group. LEC teams, Rogue, Splice, Misfits, all 0-1. NRG, EG, TSM, 0-1. And then Albus, Nox, Luna, also 0-1 of Russia. Back when Russia did have a region that was included in the World's setup. Of course, not including IEMs and things like that. I don't know how much the IEMs were invitational based versus standing based. And if it leans towards more invitational, I am less likely to even want to give it the time of day. Esports World Cup or whatever that happened this year, also not included because that was an invitational as well. You could argue, oh, these are the best teams, but PSG did not go and FlyQuest did, and PSG were better than FlyQuest at the previous tournament, so it should not have been that way. I mean, I'm beating a dead horse, but, I have a lot of new subscribers now that I didn't have, the last time I went over it. So, just something interesting, We're thinking about the teams that are at quarterfinals this year, right? So, LNG 0-1, Genji 8-6, Top Esports 2-3. Who else is right now? HLE 3-3. Team Liquid or FlyQuest. FlyQuest has never went to a best of 5 internationally. Team Liquid are 2-3. Weibo just went, so Weibo could go to 3-1 or 2-2. Just some fun stuff to think about here. Excuse me. Because it actually was inspired, this video, by the thought that, who has won against a Eastern team as a Western team internationally outside of G2? Well, Cloud9 did it. They beat the Afrika Freaks once, so that is a thing. I think Fnatic beat a team. They might have beaten IG, so that's a thing, or EDG in a best of 5. But otherwise, really, I mean, shit, it's kind of G2, right? We have 10 wins by G2 in best of 5s. Then you got a couple by Team Liquid, a few by Fnatic, a couple by Cloud9. And then H2K won one, Origin, CLG. But really, were they beating teams that were major region teams? I believe CLG beat Flash Wolves. One of these other teams might have beaten Flash Wolves or one of their own domestic partners or a Western team, so they washed themselves out. It's one of those things, the East do dominate, so it's not a big shock, but, I mean, you think about it, there's been, this is season 14. I think there were 123 matchups, I want to say. And, I mean, 19 times G2 have had a best of 5. 5 for Team Liquid, 13 for Fnatic, 9 for Cloud9. 2 for H2K, Origin, CLG, 4 opportunities for Mad Lions, 2 for Golden Guardians, and then 1 for a handful of others. So they get there more than I think people really notice. It's just because there's only 1 at Worlds. It's like, oh, well, it's more often than I think people think. If for variety and things, you'd like it to be a little bit more, and just to have the game spread out beyond the East more, it'd be nice, but, it is what it is. It's just kind of crazy even thinking that T1 have the second best win rate, and they've played so many series. Like I've said going into this one, T1 are, Faker goes to semis. He doesn't drop out in quarters, so God forbid whoever's playing him in semis quarters this week, it's going to be a tough task because T1 usually win their first best of 5 for sure, and then normally win the second one as well, so it is a thing. Either way, thank you for watching, though. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.